Don't worry. Don't worry if you miss this. It will come to you somehow through email or comments. So I think we are ready to start. The thing we need to do now is introduce you to our host. So our host today is going to be Hala Ahmed, who's joining us from Egypt, and she is with two teachers who have been working on some amazing, amazing activities. So hi Hala, how are you?
Hi, Melissa, and hi, everyone. I'm really glad to be here.
We're really, really glad to have you. Well, Hala, I'm going to be here with my camera turned off. If you need me, you can let me know, but I'll let you introduce our hosts and I hope everyone has a great time. I'll be back at the end. So
Thank you
take
very
care.
much. Thank you. Thank you very much for the lovely introduction, Melissa. Welcome everybody to this panel discussion. I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm joined today by my colleagues Tahani Rojdi, Ghada Hassan, and we will be talking to you about practical classroom ideas you can use in your classroom to integrate climate issues in your teaching. Let me tell you a little bit about what we're doing in Egypt. Tahani, Ghada, and so many other teachers in Egypt are part of a national teacher training program, which is Teach, Engage, Aspire, or T for short. And this national program aims at improving the English language skills of the English teachers in Egypt, teachers who work at the Ministry of Education and other education systems in the country. Part of that national program is to train the teachers on how to integrate climate issues into their English language classrooms. Tahani and Ghada also took the program and participated in what we call the national climate competition in Egypt. They designed fantastic lesson plans to engage their students into the climate change issues, and they won. They are two of the 20 winners who won the competition in Egypt. They are here today to share with us some of their useful ideas about how to engage your learners in a practical way into the climate-related issues. And let me tell you a little bit about Tahani and Ghada. Tahani is a senior teacher at the Ministry of Education in Egypt, and she's been part of the program Teach, Engage, Aspire for so many years. And she works also as a coordinator. She used to be a coordinator of the National Teacher Training Program in the past, but now she's leading on communities of practice in Egypt as part of the Teach, Engage, Aspire project. She has presented at several conferences and has appeared on television as an English teaching expert, and she's been awarded the 2022 Teacher of Egypt. That's a prestigious award in here in the country. Welcome, Tahani. We're so excited to having you.
Thank you, Hala. I hope the session will be beneficial and I share something useful for my colleagues. I'm really happy to be with you today.
I'm sure you'll be able to share some of your useful ideas. I'm also joined today by Ghada Hassan. She has been a senior English teacher in governmental language schools for more than 20 years, and she is a Microsoft innovative educator expert in incorporating technology in education and works as an ambassador for many ed tech platforms. She has worked also as a teacher educator for the British Council as part of our national program, Teach, Engage, Aspire. Welcome, Ghada. We're so happy to have you.
Hello, everyone. Hello, I'm very happy to be here with you. It's very like a great experience being on the British Council page and presenting new ideas for all teachers all around the world. So I'm super excited today to have all of you. Thank you very much.
We are so excited too. So after the introductions, I'm going to give the floor to Tahani first to introduce a very interesting activity for us. Tahani, would you please tell us about the activity and for which age group you think it could be useful, for which also language level and so on? Tahani?
It will be for age from 10 to 12 for intermediate level. Shall I start now? The activity, we can do it as a warm-up, we can do it as a pre-reading activity. We can do it in many ways. Normally, I do it as a chart, a conceptogram. It's a way of collecting data through something real. It's somehow like a survey. So I have this chart on the wall, and I have some A4 papers to illustrate the idea. I will start the activity by asking the students 2 questions. How many trees can you see through your day? And how clean do you feel the air? I will start to collect the data using sticky notes. So I have 2 colors of sticky notes. One green and one yellow. One for the first question and the other for the second question. So each student will have to use 2 sticky notes with 2 colors. They will just write numbers inside the sticky notes, and we will collect the data on the wall. I have 2 ways to apply this. The first one, through drawing a diagram. Of course, we will do it on the wall, but this is for illustration. This is for the first question, how many trees can you see through your day? And I have here this line for the number of the students. I will start from 5 students, 10, 25, 30, and so on. This part is for the number of the trees that students see through their day. So after collecting the sticky notes, the green sticky notes of the number, I will count and draw a diagram of how many trees they see through their day. Now, another question, and this question is, from 1 to 10, how clean do you feel the air? And I have this line for the number of students, of course. This line is for the number of trees. And this is how I collect data from students for the 2 questions. Another way, an easier one of collecting data is making 2 columns. For the first question, I have 2 columns. One, more than 10 trees, less than 10 trees. I will give them sticky notes. If they see more than 10 trees a day, they will stick a sticky note in here. If they see less than 10 trees a day, they will stick sticky notes in here. Maybe they put dots. We can draw dots on the columns. The same idea is here. For the second question, from 1 to 10, how clean do you feel the air? If I say from 1 to 5, I will use this column. If I say from 5 to 10, I will use this column. After collecting the data, I will give them follow-up questions. And I thought about making it like a discussion. So maybe I will give them the 3 questions written and ask them to discuss the question. For example, do you think this is a fair number of trees? Does this affect the air or be less cleaner? What are the solutions that we can find for these problems? I may add something to make it more advanced. I can give them the problem in a chart like, a table like this one, and ask them to work in groups, make a discussion, and find the reason of the problem and the solution. So the reason of the problem is less number of trees and unclean air. So they have two problems: the less number of trees and unclean air. So each group has to find the reason of the problem and a solution, and that's all.
That's an interesting activity, Tahani. Thank you very much. I think through this activity, you're trying to produce visuals and help the students to visualize their answers, whether the number of trees they can see every day or how far they think the air is clean. So what other benefits of doing this activity with your learners in the classroom? Do you think it develops a certain skill? Do you think it builds their confidence in a certain way? Tell us a little bit about the benefits teachers can gain if they do this activity in their classes.
I connect the knowledge to their experience, their own experience, because I ask them a question that makes them think they have now a question in their mind, and I take them gradually to be more aware of the climate change problem. I take them to finding solution thinking, critical thinking, and we provide them with group work. I didn't make it like individual. I divided them in group work. Through the group work, they will discuss together, they will speak, so it's somehow speaking activity, and it will end up with a project, so they have some motivation to do something together, and it will raise their critical thinking and creativity, the highest level on Bloom's taxonomy.
I totally agree, Tahani, and thank you for the great ideas. What I really liked about the activity is the build-up, how you prepared them gradually before they sat together and they work on a small project, or before they sit together and have a serious discussion about finding solutions to clean the air. So I like the idea of, instead of just putting them up front directly to a tough task or a tough speaking activity, this is a good preparatory activity that builds their confidence and breaks the ice and gives them a little bit of a background about the issue itself. Thank you. Great. We might get more questions from the audience today about your activity. Thank you very much, Tahani. I'll move now to Gheda. She has another interesting practical activity to share with us today. Gheda, please tell us what age group you think this activity might work well, and what language level?
Okay, so you know, as teachers, we are after helping students to speak, to use the language, to apply what they have taught in the classroom, vocabulary, grammar, everything. And we also are after making them fluent speakers, use the language in the appropriate way and in the correct way. So my activity is actually a speaking activity, and it is for students who are aged between 8 and 10. Actually, it's a speaking activity. Do you know the spinning wheel? It's a spinning wheel, but with paper. So my lesson is about natural habitats. So the students were introduced to different natural habitats, like the wetland, the desert land, the grasslands, everything about natural habitats in the world. And after taking the lesson, or after taking this unit, which is entitled In the Wild, they have given a lot of information about different habitats or natural habitats all around the world. So it's their time now to produce a new piece of language. So as a matter of enjoyment and creating enjoyment in the classroom, I thought of making a spinning wheel, or an activity which seems to be like a pizza. So it's divided into 8 parts. And in this group, the students are asked to be in groups, and each group should have 8 students. So they need to move this arrow to choose the question. So let's demonstrate the activity, how the students can play this activity. Now the students are sitting in groups. So Ahmed, this is your turn to ask your friend a question. You need to move the arrow to a question. For example, let's choose the question. Why do floods happen? Why do floods happen? Ahmed, this is my question to you. So Ahmed needs to answer the question. Floods happen when there's a lot of rain. Excellent. So you need to choose another student, one of your friends in the group. So another student must move this arrow and choose another question to be asked. And as you see, most of the questions here are like critical thinking questions, because we want them to improve their creativity, their critical thinking. They don't only answer the questions, but we want to test their ability to think critically and find solutions for the problems, why these actions or why these like why these things happen, like floods or deforestation. And as you see here, different questions are demonstrated, are written here on the spinning wheel, so the students might have a good opportunity to discuss and speak and use the language. So it's very important for the teacher here to like to test their ability to speak, to use the input which is given at the beginning of the class or during the lessons presented through the unit. And it's their time now to produce a new language or to use the language, but in like in a group work. So the students are sitting together, they are enjoying asking and answering their questions together. And of course the teacher are there, the teacher is there to monitor what the students are doing. They are trying to answer the questions, and the teacher is trying to make them do the activity or to stick to the language. And this is very important role of the teacher here, is to monitor the students while they are on task. This is one activity which is done by the student. And actually it's a speaking activity. It's something like a consolidation activity. And it's also for them to use the language and to help the teacher to measure if they are quite fluent in using different words, different vocabulary taught in the class or not. This is one activity. I hope that you can see it and you get the idea behind it.
It's excellent. It's excellent, and you explained it beautifully. Thank you very much, Reda. And,
Thank you.
And I think it also develops other skills for the students, like turn taking, for example. So they learn that they need to talk when it's only their turn. And I think that's an important skill in negotiations, in discussions, and so on. So,
and I think, yeah, and I think the students will like this form, because most of the students, most Egyptian people like pizza. So let's play the pizza game. So I call it pizza game. It's not actually a spinning game, but it's a pizza game.
Actually, I like the idea also of relating this to what the students like in what they see and what they use or eat in their daily life, like pizza, for example. So yes. perhaps next time you do it in your class, Reda, you might need to decorate the pizza slices a little bit.
Yes, sure.
Vegetables and the cheese.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Make it
yes,
look like
I will do it.
Pizza.
I promise I will do it.
So what other benefits, Reda, do you think this activity might the teachers might get if they do this activity in their classrooms? So it improves the speaking, and it gets the students to work together, and again it helps perhaps the shy students to work with the stronger students together in one activity, so they can support each other. What other benefits can you tell us about today?
I think it can encourage the students' personalization, because they can put their own ideas here. For example, if one of them asks the question like, I have another wheel here, or another paper of different questions. So one of the questions here, can you imagine the world without pollution? So they have to think, they have to produce their own ideas. So can you think that how the world would be like if there's no pollution? can you imagine how life would be with too much pollution? So they need to think here, they need to imagine that they are living in a world with no pollution. How would life be like at that time? So I think they will give their own ideas. They will think critically. They will feel that they this will spark their imagination. I think they could go very far from the life they are living and thinking about things maybe behind nature or something like that.
Yeah, I think bringing creativity and imagination to the climate conversation is quite important, especially for youth and young people, because there's a misconception when you tell them about climate, they sometimes they panic and they think it's such a harsh topic to talk about. But bringing
Yes.
creativity and critical thinking and imagination to this area is quite useful in raising the awareness and getting the students more engaged in it. Thank you very much, Ghada. We might get more questions about your activity later. I'll go back to Tahani now for another quick but interesting activity. Tahani.
Yes, Hala. This activity is for presenting new vocabularies or letting students be more aware about climate change definition. I will do it in some steps. I will start with showing them the words on photos, present the new vocabularies on photos. I have 7 new photos, new words that I need to present. I will start with this one. I will show them the card and repeat the word. So I have acid, air freshener, toxic, nightmare, shade, greenhouse, and the last one is emissions. By the way, this is I am presenting vocabularies of lesson from grade 5 from the official book for Egypt, grade 5. And it tells a story about a nightmare that a boy has a nightmare about seeing life with the climate change and how the emissions was very harm for their lungs and everything. I have 7 words to present. I will use the flashcards first. I will repeat the words, then I will stick the flashcards to the board, write the words next to the flashcards. The second step is presenting the definitions of the words. I will have 2 Hawaii skirts, this one with the words that I already presented in some flashcards, and the other skirt with the definition. As usual, I will divide into groups and ask each group to connect the definition with the word. After they finish, I will give them a key answer. I will give each group key answer with the answer of the question. I will not share answers. I will give them key answers. Like 1 is F, 2 is B, and I have this on the skirts. So I have on the skirt numbers of the words and letters for the definitions. I will give them this key answer, and I will ask each group to stand up and share 1 or 2 definitions. And that's all.
That's another very interesting activity, Tahani. Thank you very much. I think it's I think it as Joe's just said, it helps the students to move and have fun while learning. So matching and moving things and touching things. Some students learn better when they touch things. They touch the words, they hold the words, they hold the definition. And I absolutely love the idea of the Hawaii skirt.
And one more thing, Hala, I insist that they do the whole process by themselves. I don't share answers. I don't just you have the key answer. You will do everything. You will share your answers with me. I just present the new vocabularies at the beginning of the period because they are new for them. They don't know them, so I have to give them clues and hints in order to be ready for finding the definition.
Yeah, I can see it's very much student-centered. So our time is up, but we have one question in the Q&A box. It's for Gheda from Aminata Sal. I hope I'm saying your name right, Aminata.
Yes.
Hi, Gheda. I really like the idea of spinning wheel activity. Did you yourself make the material, and how do you make it?
Yes, that's a very good question, by the way. So I made it with myself. It's very simple. I just use a paper, and with the help of the computer, I draw like this circle divided into 2 parts, into 8 parts, I'm sorry. And inside each part, I have put a text box, and then I just add the text here. And I try to adjust the words into this eighth, in this part. So this is how it looks now. And I just use this paper to make an arrow, moving arrow, and I use a pen to make it just easily to move like a hand of the clock or something like that. So it's very, very easy. And you can also find this paper like something which is ready-made on the net, and then you download it, print it out, or you can write it with your hand. It's not also important to use the computer or to type the questions inside each part.
Thank you. So it's easy, it's cheap, not expensive, lots of options.
Super easy, yes.
May I add one idea for Gheda's pizza?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
We can write numbers on the slides of pizza and provide the questions on a piece of paper for each question, or maybe on a box. So you just have a number, so you have a pizza that you can use it in many activities, not just this one.
Yes. So you can adapt. Yeah, you can adapt the activity. Yes.
You can play a little bit with it to increase the challenge for the students. So I have a quick question for you both, Tahani and Gheda. How much class time would you need for each activity? Tahani, very quickly.
For my activity, maybe 30 minutes will be good, or maybe 45 minutes. If I take time, I can make it quickly as a warm-up. It's adaptable according to the purpose of the activity.
What about your activity, Gheda? How much time?
I think it's a free practice activity. It can be done by the end of the lesson. So I think it might take only 10 minutes for the students, or maybe from 10 to 15 minutes to discuss the whole questions and cover the whole ideas up here.
Great, excellent. I think we have no more questions. Melissa, do we have more questions? Okay. No.
I think maybe we do. We've got people watching on Facebook. I just reappeared because I know, Hala, you can't see the Facebook comments. And I've just come back. I know Melissa's still here, but her connection's not so good. So she said she'd be back, but it's me just to finish off. But thank you so much. That was so interesting and so good to see how you actually do it with your students, and all of your tips, like don't share the answers until the end, or make sure you give them, enough time. So this is all really, really interesting. There was a question, I think, that came through. We talked about how much class time is needed for these. somebody mentioned the wow factor at the beginning of the session. How would you explain that? Because people are saying, what's the wow factor? How do you know when you've got the wow factor with your students?
Would you please paraphrase the question, make it clearer for us?
Yes.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I don't know who said that. Maybe it was you, Hala. Someone said, talking about the wow factor, you know, when you do an activity with your students and you get that instant reaction where they're interested.
I think the wow factor might be something around creativity and innovation. So again, the climate change is a harsh topic to talk about. Some people misunderstand it for purely scientific area, but if we add creative ideas like the ideas Tehani and Ghada shared with us today, we might be able to generate this wow factor. You know, when you get students amazed or engaged or hooked by a new idea, they might be able to talk a little bit more with confidence and ease about a topic like climate change. So relating climate change to pizza slices, or relating climate change to Hawaii skirts, or asking the students how many trees do they see on their way every day from home to school, and things like this. I think these are all ideas that might generate interest and create this what's so-called wow factor.
Activity.
That's my take on the wow factor.
Yes. And how would you describe the reaction of your students to these activities? Ghada, how did they respond?
I think they will like the activity because I think I will give them the time or the freedom to speak in groups. So I think they will like the activity actually because they are working in groups. This is a very important thing. They are working collaboratively. They are working together in one group. And I think this will arouse their thinking to find solutions for some questions that might impose or give problems in the world about natural habitats and what should we do to keep these natural habitats safe in the world, in the whole world. So I think they would like the activity because they are thinking, they are like voicing their thoughts, they are speaking up, they are telling their ideas. Total freedom to speak.
Definitely. So it's
and I think they will have like a role. They can imagine that they are like stakeholders or people who are important, people who are responsible for the community, and they feel that they can produce their own solutions to such problems.
Definitely. And I think that's so important, isn't it? It's something that they touched on, that Teo and Christiana touched on in their session. How do we talk about this in a way that doesn't make students feel anxious, but it makes them feel empowered that they can do things? So what you're saying is perfect for that. And what about you, Tehani? How did your students react to the activity? Oh, you're on mute. Just activate your audio and then we can hear you.
I'm sorry. For me, they were fully engaged and they liked the idea of using flashcards with colors, moving inside the classroom. They were enthusiastic of thinking what is when we were collecting data of the survey. They were like want to know the result of the survey. The brainstorming part, making them engaged in groups and discuss together, working in project, and be ready to put the solutions and tell the solution to the whole classroom. All of this makes them fully engaged, and they were very motivated to learn and to create their own ideas and to participate.
Definitely. Thank you. Well, thank you all so much. It's been really, really inspiring to hear from you, to learn from you, and to hear about all your work with your students on climate. So I'm afraid that's all really we have time for. But thanks again to our special guest host, Hala Ahmed, and our two panelists, Ghada Hassan and Tahani Rushdie. Thank you. It's been really, really interesting. And yeah, we're really excited to have you here today. So thank you everybody for coming. Thanks to Wayam, who is moderating on Facebook.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you both.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Melissa and Hala. Goodbye, Ghada. Have a nice day all.
It has been such a great experience indeed. Thank you very much for giving us such a good opportunity to be live and talking to people, presenting our own ideas. Thank you, Dr. Hala. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, my colleague Tahani. Thank you for everything.
Excellent. It's been fantastic. A pleasure. Thank you. Right, so we'll see you all tomorrow at the same time for 2 more sessions. Don't forget, we've got our webinar, the second of the series with Teo and Christiana. And we've also got another panel with more of our expert climate practitioners from Egypt. So hopefully we'll see you all tomorrow. So thanks everybody, and see you soon.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. See you soon.